Check, 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 check. I'm just trying to see if this is going to play. Check, 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 check. Having to do this from home, so it's a little bit goofy. Short one. Dropping into pipeline audio number 40 and calling it Karma Stew. I can't even tell if anybody's watching, actually. So. Hopefully this isn't cutting in and out. I don't think it is. I'm watching. Let me watch OBS. Check, 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 check. Well, at least I'm recording on this side anyway. Okay, sorry, I'll start that over. So this is dropping in a pipeline audio number 40. Dropping in a pipeline audio number 40. And this is Karma Stew. There's been a crazy. This has been a crazy morning. I'll get to that, but didn't really have a subject tonight. It's just it's been very busy. Man, ergonomics is just so important. Let me pop this back up. So this is my routing, part of my routing plan of what goes between the rooms here. What you don't see is the internal pieces of how the M32 and the X32s and the DL32s all work. They have like just piles of screens you go through for routing. that like we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago, where the new version 4 software is out for the X32 series. That's actually going to fix a lot of things, but still, yeah, it's still a nightmare. I can't hold in my head exactly how the routing is going, and that's a scary thing. And I'm really, really thinking I'm going to strip down this whole thing to very simple as soon as I possibly can, with no mixer involved at all. I'm just going to run it straight through as much as I can, and hopefully I can write that down in a way that's just super, super simple. I'm going to try. Today, I had to record somebody, and sorry. Sorry, excuse me. Today I had to record somebody, and it took quite a bit of going before I was able to get headphones. I don't know if you've probably seen my setup before. I've got an M32, and that's mostly what I use in my room. But it goes out to the DL32 out in the big room. But before that happens, it goes to an X32, and it goes through the X32 to get to the DL32 mic preamp set. So it's a pretty crazy process, and it's really dependent on a lot of things. And I think somebody changed something on the X32, and all of a sudden I don't have headphones going out to my vocal booth. And ergonomics is just so important to me. Like I normally I can get to where I can record an entire band in about 5 minutes. I mean, to me that's just incredible. We used to, you'd budget out 3 to 6 hours for setup in the studios back in the day, and now we're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. Unless something crazy like this goes on. I want to be able to hold the routing in my head pretty much, or if not, I want to be able to see it on a very simple picture. It's just so important. So that's one thing that was really on me today, and I really need to simplify my life. It's still good. An analog snake into your control room, whatever. It's just so much simpler. Um, it's kind of bummed, when we finally put the actual our first product out, the multi-band gate, for sale, and I think we had 2 sales on it. And this morning, I wake up. By the time I'm up, Glenn Fricker had put out this video. Drum samples are no longer required. Here's why. And he showed our multi-band gate on it. 20,000 views right now, and I have been answering emails all day long. So it's super exciting, and thank you so much to Glenn Fricker, Spectre Sound Studios. You really, 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 really boosted our signal flow here. And, I've said it before, one of the reasons I made this gate is that unlike Glenn, I don't really hate drum samples so much. I'll use them if I want them, but my problem with them is when I feel forced to use them. And I often feel forced to use them because I have cymbals bleeding all over my toms. And so, knowing that that's his shtick, I told him, here's where you really don't need, you won't have to use samples if you don't want to. And so, of course, he took that, and I'm sure he was probably thinking that in the first place. This guy, he really pulled off a good one here. And we got piles and piles of views over it. I think a lot of sales, and so I'm super happy about Glenn's video. And we're probably going to be doing a lot more. So it's funny that, I don't think he didn't mention my history with Reaper or anything. And every once in a while, I get kind of bummed. People forget who I am and what I did. I know most of you don't know about cabinet impulses and my history and stuff, but I think a lot of you, at least who would listen, know about my history with Reaper. But his guys don't. And so one of the emails was this guy said, I need you to install Reaper and take a look at it and understand how that works, because this is how I want. But that's cool. That's really cool. The Reaper has touched people so much. So that's actually awesome. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. I'm really happy with what Glenn did. This program. This didn't really exist back in the day, but look, if you got a YouTube channel or you got a blog or you got a Facebook page, anywhere where people are talking about recording, looking at recording products and stuff, if you join this affiliate program with us, it doesn't cost you anything. All you do is we give you some links that you put down, and if people click those links, they come to our site, and if they buy something, you're getting a 15% commission on that. So that's, if you're just doing stuff you're going to do anyway and get paid for it, that's pretty awesome. So we actually need more people doing this. So if you can, get a hold of me, or just go to AIXDSP.com and go to the support section, and there's the affiliate program right there. You can sign up. I'd love it if you guys did this. Let me know. So the next thing is, the reason I was thinking Karma Stew here is, I remember tormenting tech support, anybody I could from any software company or any company really. Why didn't you do this with your program? You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's time for payback for all the stuff I did. All the people out there that are running plugins now. Here I am answering emails all day and stuff, and I've actually been lucky that people have treated me a lot better than I used to treat. We've got a few, but in general, they treat me a lot better than I used to treat these poor developers back in the day. A big part of it was that most of them had never been within 20 miles of a recording studio, so you did have some animosity there, but still, yet, man, like I was a terror, and I'm glad people aren't like that for us. They've been really cool so far. One of the things that I'm trying to do, and if you were around in the Reaper days, you remember that if it was at all possible, I would drive to you and I'd show you how this stuff worked. And I kind of went around the country, even with my health, and did this as much as I could. And I was always there. I got chastised because I had my phone number there, and people could call early on to ask Reaper questions and stuff. And I was always there. I think it was before YouTube. I was making videos, and you could always get a hold of me. And there was a little bit of talk early on that we should just have official email support, whatever. And so it's not really. It's just informal. Everything informal. Business is informal, but I don't care. I have. It just says if you get an email from Pipeline Audio at AIXDSP, that's me. I'm you can reach out to me. You can call me. I just said the email address, pipelineaudio at AIXDSP, if you want to talk about the AIXDSP stuff. I'm there, and I'm going to be there as long as I can. A little worn out this last night, but I'll get back in the groove of it. That we did get a lot of calls on it, and this is killing me because never mind what year it is, what century is this? A lot of people weren't able to run the plugin at first because it wasn't showing up or showing as invalid. And it turned out that the reason is that there's DAWs out there still. You can't really tell if they're mono or stereo by what's on the track, or they force you to use one or the other. Couple things. It has to be a stereo track in order to work. We're fixing that. We're going to make mono versions and stuff. But one thing you might want to do is just tell I was just saying how I just torture the developers. But honestly, in this day, in this century, in this decade, tell your developer that your DAW should be smart enough to know what to do. Whether it's mono or stereo or whatever. I look at those Waves installs where it installs like every plugin's got like 4 versions or whatever, mono to stereo, whatever, surround, forget it. The other one we're getting nailed about a lot was the path for the VST3. Okay, let me find this. See if I can. As far as I could tell, Steinberg requires whatever that you put your if you have an installer anyway, that you put them in C program files, common files, VST3. And we got a lot of complaints that we're not getting prompted for where to install the plugins. That's where it's supposed to go according to Steinberg, and I really don't want to make them mad because right now Juice doesn't seem to work on Linux for VST3. And you can no longer use VST2 unless you got an agreement. I know I'm trying not to make Steinberg mad, but this is kooky. I really don't understand this. Like, we're trying to give you money or whatever, compelling us not to use it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. So I really don't want to upset them. I've been asking. Oh, yeah, it took them a week for them to email me back that the email that I was supposed to send asking VST2 was the wrong one. And we'll see how this works. This sucks. And SDKs in general, but we need. Speaking of, I need to not be me. I mean, if you remember me back in the day when I would take on Avid, the Pro Tools guys and stuff. We actually need the Avid SDK in order to write for Pro Tools. We had to already refund a couple of people because they thought maybe our plugin ran in Pro Tools, and it doesn't yet because we can't get the SDK. So here I am, Avid, trying to add value to your customers and probably trying to give you money, and you're making it hard. Why do you want to close up your format like this? And honestly, I know that, oh God, you guys are going to get upset, whatever, but I wouldn't want to use. I mean, one of the reasons we made Reaper in the first place, I wouldn't want to use the closed up format like that. They used to close up their hardware, but now they're making it hard so you can't make plugins for them or whatever. Come on, man. If anybody's got the ear of anybody at Avid, just please tell them to get our SDK through, and so we can make some stuff for their customers and add some value to their company. And finally, I told you this is gonna be short. If you get a chance, watch Phil's stream. Something's wrong with it. So a frequent guest on this show, Philsie, he does these streams where he just goes to that Cambridge-MT website and grabs multi-tracks and mixes them live on the air and shows you how he's doing it. This week he's using, among a billion other things, he's using 2 of our products, the Note EQ, which I'll be talking about next week probably, and the multiband gate. And he gets some massive sounds out of this thing. He does typical Phil stuff with the gate and clips it, of course, but whatever he's doing to the guitars with no EQ, it's insane. He's making these, it's supposed to be those fast kind of death metal-y kind of guitars. They never really sound that big, but man, he gets this giant wall of sound out of it somehow. I'm going to put the link in the show notes because something's wrong with his I keep trying to tell him something's wrong with his YouTube page. Like, it doesn't show his newer videos. It only shows his older ones. And while we're on that subject, you know, if you're just growing up today, you have no idea how lucky you are to get this. Go to this. It's cambridge-mt.com, and it's mixing secrets for the small studio. and he's got this libraries full of multi-tracks that you can download and practice mixing. You know, if I would have had this back in the day when I was learning, you know, I was lucky that I was at a very big studio and I could pull abandoned tapes out of the vaults and try and mix them. But you know, they were abandoned for a reason. So you know, this place is unreal. I mean, I think he has a paid program or something, but all the things I've ever done on there you download for free. So go check it out. And that's it for me this week. This has been a crazy day. But I'll talk to you guys later.